What's up guys, it's VenomousStare. It's going to be another Call of Duty Cold War video, and today this is going to be sort of the honeymoon phase has ended, what the hell is wrong with the game video. So right out the gate we have an important issue, the theater mode. Now theater mode was first introduced in Black Ops 1. Remember, Modern Warfare 2 was the game where it really brought Call of Duty to life as far as the YouTube community goes and montage making and gameplay commentary. The meteoric rise in popularity of Modern Warfare 2 had a direct correlation with all of the people making YouTube commentaries over it. After that, we had Black Ops 1 come out with a theater mode, which was somewhat rudimentary, but was very useful for doing things like recording good clips and making montages and making sure that you didn't have to have your fucking capture card or screen recorder running 24/7 to pick up a good gameplay. Back then, if you got a really good game, you went to theater and you could click save, and then you could play 30 more matches that night, and at the end of the session you could record the commentary. This does not exist in this game. There are a mere 20 games in your recent match history, and if you get a good one and want to record it, then all of a sudden you have to leave all of your friends and go immediately record it. There's no save function, so the theater has gotten worse in every game that it's in since the first Black Ops 1 game. And the vexing thing about this is, this was a very important feature. And look how fast this is and how fucked up this is just by default. And this is not even the right fucking replay. So that's like another absolute retarded thing, is you can quit the game and it just scrolls you back to the top. And the really vexing thing is notice how when I mouse over these, it doesn't give me like a score over here. Like in Black Ops 1, it would tell me what the game, how I did, how it went. So this is actually the game that I meant to view, Crossroads on Control. And if I was able to actually see my score, that wouldn't have been an issue. So this is just going to be sort of a gameplay commentary, and I wanted to just show how awful the theater was and how terrible and disjointed it was. This really hurts people's ability to make any sort of content. Look at this. You have selected an invalid clip. Now this is part of what I wanted to complain about initially, is the crashiness of the game in general. Lost connection to host. Look at this shit. I'm still fucking online. It's just absolutely terrible. And whenever you try to join your friends' matches, this is something that gets fucked up too. It just consistently gets gummed up in terms of, if you ever want to play with people, you'll get jammed out of games, you'll get lost connection to host, you'll get UI errors. Also, look at this, it's going to start at ×2 for no reason. I gotta fix it. Look at this. Just go to normal speed, you fucking rat cocksucker. Okay, so this is a game of Control that I had, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a gameplay commentary on it. So this is Control. You can see here that we've got the ticket advantage early, and I'm going into A solo. I'm using the Bulldog with laser sight and the grip that prevents you from losing the ability to drop shot, and I'm using the clip that gives you an extension as well as more ammo. It's sort of frivolous to name which attachments you're using, because almost always you're going to just be using the very best thing at the end, because most of the way the attachments work is that the final one that you unlock is just the best. So we can see that the replay sort of has like a buggy, jarry, framey feel to it that a normal game wouldn't have. This is something that has existed in replay from the beginning, but one of the vexing things is these replays can go off the rails at any minute. They don't really show the proper team names on each side. They bug out in terms of their functionality and just crashing like we saw before. And they are so disjointed and sort of framey feeling that if you were to ever use these, look at this. See how weird that is? See how they couldn't just do the animation at the end? And this wasn't a 5v5. This was a 6v6, at least for most of it. So I capture most of the point there and go 10, 2, and 3. And what's really vexing to me about the replay feature is that, like I said, this was around in Black Ops 1, and this is something that existed and worked reasonably well, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. As you can see, a lot of shitty dead time there. One thing I want to complain about is this morning there was a patch, and supposedly it nerfed the FAMAS remake assault rifle. It nerfed the M16, and they accidentally unnerfed the MP5, and that was actually not supposed to happen because they hotfixed the MP5 and screwed it up again. Well, suddenly the MP5 is good again, but that's not really what I'm worried about because it took them a whole patch to fix titles and emblems. This is a game that in the beta these features were working, and this is yet another game where, for whatever reason, the original game is somehow worse than the beta. And this is a very vexing trend that we've been seeing in Call of Duty where the original game is released over a month after the beta, and the beta is actually pretty good, and the original game has crippling hamstringing features that the beta didn't have. So that's something that you have to consider is how could that possibly happen? How could a game be released and the beta actually be a more complete product than the game itself that was on release day? Remember, this wasn't a Valorant type game that went straight from beta to release. They had a whole month to figure out what was what, and when the game was released, there were multiple bugs, including consistent disconnects and party errors and the titles not working. Now with this most recent patch, the titles and emblems work consistently, but there's a new bug that's been added. The care package and sentry are bugged. If you use them in conjunction with the counter UAV, when you get one, the other one will disappear and is unable to be used. This is something that I struggled with in a few games, and I don't know if it's being showed properly on theater mode, but it's something that occurred in game and something that forced me to change my kill streaks and actually cost me a loss. So it's very vexing to follow this game and know that the beta was actually in better shape than the original. And in this third round we had a very big edge and I sort of played silly. And we can see here on the right side my sentry gun is listed as up. It's supposedly up and ready to be used, but I clicked on it and it wouldn't come up. So this is a new bug that comes up in the patch. And the fact that the game is more buggy than it was in beta, the theater is worse, and we're in this position where there's now this new bug, and every time they patch something, they screw something else up. This is vexing. And this is the game. We can see here, I get top of the scoreboard, 17, 3, and 5, but actually that was just the end of round 2. Round 3 is coming up, and it's sort of a snoozer. We really need to see Vonderhaar and his team get their shit together, because the sort of stuff that's being broken now is exceptionally easy to fix, and this idea that you could come out with a beta where you almost have a completely perfect game and you screw it up and then you tweet it to pro gamers whenever they ask for a competitive ladder on launch. Let me rephrase that for you. Oh, I'm gonna go hide in my Dodge camper. Fuck your Dodge camper van. Don't release a game where you've done zero work from the beta to the release, and you've essentially hamstrung your community, especially the competitive community, by releasing a shitty, bugged version of the game. And here we see I'm going to go full retard here, and using a combination, doing a couple 360s there to be hard. And notice that I have engineer here, and it's not showing up in this replay. He had a jammer right outside of grenade room door, and on this life I'm going to try to slide and hack it. The Spycraft Engineer combo is lethal, and here I run in and literally sacrifice a life to hack that. Notice how it didn't show up red in Engineer replay. Now at this point I'll call in my care package and go B. I find that Molotovs are the best lethal, trophies are a must-have for objectives, and if you're going to run Engineer, which you should with Spycraft, you should also run care package. Care package is going to come right on to B, and I've got to just say some closing thoughts here. It's absolutely ridiculous that Black Ops would be released in an inferior state to how it was in the beta. It's far too crashy. I spend a large portion of my time with my friends consistently trying to re-queue and rejoin our lobbies, and it makes it where the friend group disjoints and breaks up, and it screws up our sessions. This game is way too buggy for how buggy it was in beta, which was not very buggy. And the functionality and basic mechanics of the game are more important than a lot of other things. The fact that the title and emblems didn't work until a week into the game is a joke. So if you're not using the Molotov, do so. Look how terrible the replay client is. 27, 7, and 7 top frag, a solid game.